Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. This is episode 8 of the Shooters Club. What did we talk about today, man?
We talked about rumors.
The 1DX Mark III leaked online. We talked about what we shot this last week.
What I tried to edit.
Right. Always talking about my transition into Final Cut. And what else?
A couple goals for 2020 that we were doing.
Yep. And just like every week, we answered your questions live on Instagram. Typically, Monday afternoons, Pacific time, between 1 and 3, we go live. So always
keep those coming in.
Yeah, stay tuned. Anyways, stay tuned for episode number 8. What is up, everybody? My name is Ross.
I'm David.
And this is the Shooters Club, episode number... Dude, what are we on? 8?
Number 8.
Episode number 8. We are young Kobe in the Shooters Club today, number 8. Hoping to get to 24 one day.
Yes.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yeah, it is... Dude, it's the new year. It's 2020.
I feel good. Something about the new decade... new year, it's got me hyped, dude. I'm excited.
I'm slightly hyped, and I'm slightly not hyped.
Why?
Dude, just work. Work is got a lot of work, man.
I'm pumped up.
You know what I mean? I'm definitely pumped up too. I haven't quite set my goals. I like to do that every year, and I've honestly, don't tell my wife, I've been kind of putting it off this year. I had some goals last year, and I don't know what goals. I know I need those goals. I know I have like relative ideas as to sort of what they want to be, but I haven't quite figured out what they should be.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm already I jumped on, did that this weekend.
Really?
Dude. Yeah, already setting goals.
Nice.
Jumping on them already.
Question, did you make any of your goals from last year?
Yeah. Our revenue, how much we wanted to make.
Nice.
I think we hit every one of our goals except our social media goals. How many followers we wanted.
Dude, Instagram's changed. All that nonsense has changed.
Those goals were hard to hit, but our actual revenue streams and the clients, how many weddings we wanted to book.
The important stuff.
We surpassed every one of our goals.
Nice.
And I think we doubled it for 2020 on what we want to reach this year.
Wow.
Boom. I'm excited.
Awesome.
I'm pumped, dude.
Sweet. I don't really remember a lot of my goals.
Yeah.
But I do remember I wanted to do 5 muscle ups in a row, muscle ups.
Did you?
And I did. I only did it once. But I hit that goal, man.
And what is it that you do so they know that
I'm Ross. I first of all, I'm a gym owner. That's my main job. And I also do photography and video on the side as the Brotographer. If you're listening to this, we're on YouTube right now on the Brotographer's YouTube channel, and I do social media just for fun, blog a little bit, make some videos, and it's kind of just a little creative outlet.
Some awesome
What about
videos.
you, man?
I do I'm a wedding filmmaker, so we mainly focus on wedding films. Do some commercial work here and there, but my main source of income is wedding videos.
You're a videographer?
Yeah. You know what? I used to be opposed to it. Now, I just feel like know what a videographer is.
I feel like videographer is a fake word. Like, so I feel like filmmaker is a real thing, but I feel like videographer just sounds kind of dumb. Not that it implies that, but it just sounds.
I believe that, and that's how I still kind of think. But what I learned too, that brides and clients aren't typing in wedding filmmaker.
Yeah,
they're typing in wedding videographer. Need a wedding video.
Right.
So I kind of changed my tune on...
Well, you can call yourself something and then SEO is
so
something else,
on my website,
right?
We're going to push videographer.
Nice.
But I am a filmmaker.
Nice.
I want to be.
Sweet. I wouldn't call myself a film... Yeah, I'm kind of like a jack of all trades, I guess. I don't know.
Entrepreneur.
When it comes
creative entrepreneur.
But I'm not even that creative. I'm trying to get more creative. I think that's important in the future. But we're live on Instagram as well. And like we always do, I think we're going to jump right into the question and answer portion. If you ever want some questions answered about, podcasting, photography, video, life, just anything in general connected to this like business or entrepreneurial or creative lifestyle, this is when we do it. We never record, at the same time. Typically, we try for like Monday afternoons, like 1:30 to 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. But let's David's got his iPad right here, and we are going to start up near the top. Okay.
See, a lot of joined.
Yeah, a lot of people joining. I'm going to try and go down here to the first question. Let's see. Does angle matter in light? Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Of course.
Now, it depends on what you're shooting. Like, if you're doing a spotlight on a first, what's that? The speech.
Yeah.
At a wedding.
Reception?
The reception.
Yes.
You just need to be up a little bit, but you're not going to worry as much about, is it just off to the left or is it a little more in front? You mainly want to light them a little bit more than like what we're doing here, right?
Yeah, and you do want that 45-degree angle.
Yes, the height at that distance matters more than the angle, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you really want to make sure it's pleasing to whatever you're lighting.
Sure.
But if it's someone you want to, it's a basic, hit the 45 angle and you can, just leave it there and start from there. It's a good place to start.
But when the lighting is closer, like it is to us right now,
yeah,
the angle off to the left and right matters significantly.
Yeah.
Like if it's completely in front of you, if you're watching on YouTube right now, you'll notice that there's a light off to this side, and we're getting a little bit more shadow on this side of our face. Attempting with two people, it's kind of hard for that Rembrandt lighting where you have the V on the opposite side, and that's like a classical portrait lighting. But I mean, if you wanted a beauty lighting, you might do clamshell up above and below or off to the sides. Like, so long story short,
it matters a lot.
It matters a lot. And man, just Google that or YouTube that. There's a ton of stuff out there on YouTube for lighting. All right, rolling down the questions here. Projects for 2020 from Pizu.
Pizu.
I don't really know yet. I'm constantly working on marketing for the gym. Just pushing Pilates in the new year a lot more. Our product and cross training has just significantly increased in its quality in the last year. So we're kind of pushing some of those processes to the other sides of the gym. So I want to really market that hardcore. Projects for 2020. I want to knock out some reviews on some gear. I think I finally completed this YouTube space, so that was kind of a low-key goal. But man, just do more of what I want to do. Make a little bit more money.
Okay.
I don't have any specific projects in mind.
But you do have a couple projects you did work on that we're gonna get into.
Yes, we'll get into that a little bit. But what about you? Any specific projects that you have planned?
Projects
aside from like general weddings and stuff.
General weddings, just putting more into the business as projects. We have a video series we're gonna do for internal that we send to brides that we're gonna shoot, and not necessarily any new projects. I think just
you did your giveaway. How did that go?
It went great. So
awesome.
We just booked a wedding off someone that didn't win.
Oh.
But they inquired throughout when they found out, and they entered the giveaway, didn't win, and then now booked us for a wedding.
Okay. Were they a follower of you, or were they someone who was tagged? Or did they have to tag someone?
Yeah, they had to tag 3 people. They weren't a follower.
Were they someone who was tagged?
Yeah.
Dude.
They entered, lost, and then inquired, and now booked.
It's so worth it.
And I think they booked for like 35 or 3,700. So just off, if you think about how much that cost, the investment that's going to take to do the giveaway, it's the return already just came back.
It's a no-brainer.
The return came back, and the buzz that it created, it was huge for us.
I feel so strongly about that because in this industry, people are always constantly talking about know your worth, don't work for free, all this stuff. And to a point, I think that's true. Know your worth, yes. But there is a time and a place to do things at a discount or for free. Now, you weren't hired by someone who promised exposure and all that stuff. And I agree with all that side of it, where don't work for exposure.
Yeah.
I get that. But, dude, you giving away a product like that, you know how much it costs you, and you know if X percentage of people hire me. If 1%.
All it took was 1.
Yeah.
That was the main goal, is if I get 1 inquiry, one booking from
it's almost free. It's almost free marketing.
Yeah.
And I think some people, I see that in...
It's not free, but it's like, it's your marketing.
Yes.
It's what you should consider. Hey, I'm going to spend this much on marketing, but instead of paying services, you're gonna spend it on yourself. You know,
Right.
this is what we're spending on marketing, which it is gonna take. We did a giveaway video, and it is gonna take our time and money to do those and produce
Sure.
them. But it just creates more buzz. It's
Exactly.
you know, it's just creating a hype, a buzz, and then more money from it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that some people are so adverse to giveaways or giving their product away for free or doing something where you won't be paid. I see that all the
Yeah.
time. I even see that in my own company where I might have to spend a little bit of money at something, but then I think about it
Yeah.
and it's like, well, dude, if we just get 1% back, like we make our money, it's
It
so
was huge, dude.
It's so worth it.
And that's not including once we do the giveaway videos, posting those and
Yeah.
sharing those, and
Yeah.
then the inquiries that will come in from those. So it's like an ongoing
Yeah.
thing, you know?
Absolutely. Well, dude, that's really cool. All right, moving down the questions. What are the best astrophotography settings for crisp, clear shots and also star trails? I don't shoot astrophotography at all, but I would assume that you would need a very wide aperture lens,
Yeah.
like 2.8 or lower.
Definitely
Preferably,
lower, yeah.
preferably like 1.4, like the 24 millimeter 1.4, the G Master from Sony that I got. I've heard, and I haven't used it for astro, but I've heard that's a really good astrophotography lens.
I used to use the 14 to 24 2.8 on the
yeah.
Nikon.
Yeah.
The Nikon lens, which was amazing. And they asked, what are the best astrophotography settings?
Well, but I think it really relies on the lens, because certain lenses and certain cameras have different like characteristics. They can make the stars look different,
Yeah.
even at the same exact settings.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and you want to make sure your settings, if you want the star trails,
You're
you
gonna be
need
shooting
a
long
longer
exposure.
and you want to know what that setting is right before the star trails to get that tack sharp.
Yep.
So you can open up your aperture. You know, if you have that 1.4, open it up all the way.
Yeah.
And you focus on those stars.
Manually
and then
focus.
Yeah, and then you can kind of bring it down a little bit and kind of start messing with your settings. The way I learned was just going out and just shooting it.
Experimenting.
Yeah, experimenting with it and kind of looking at that back of the camera and kind of just double checking it.
Exactly. All right, moving down to JDM Raw. I need some good photo editing equipment. I have a Canon printer and the pics look great on the computer, but blank when it comes out of the printer sometimes. I mean, that's a complex question because I don't know a ton about printing yourself, but I know that you need to have like the colors right and calibrated correctly, and I'm assuming that a lot of that is because of the calibration.
Color space that you're...
Yeah, the color space that you're putting out to the printer or editing in. You know, printers can only print CMYK, and check and see if when you're editing the pictures, you're in RGB, because the color space is much small that a printer. Think about like on your computer screen, you can print crazy neon. You can have crazy neon colors. You can't necessarily output that to a printer and have that same shine. So I don't know. What's up, Taryn? River raised. If you're still here, what do you? I have no clue.
Probably
to be honest.
a car. Hold on.
How do you find your own style? Mess around. Just shoot. Find your own style. I still don't think I found my own style.
Yeah. Shoot a lot. Shoot all kinds. Anything that interests you. And then out of shooting a bunch, you're going to start learning what you like. And then in shooting what you like, you start building up your own style.
Absolutely.
So I think the main thing is shoot a lot.
Shoot a lot. And let me see. I can't pronounce your name. I want to show you my work and I want your opinion. Shoot me a DM. Amira, how can I be a better photographer? Shoot and learn. Shoot and learn. Repeat.
Yeah, not just tutorials. Get out.
Just go out and do it.
Get out and shoot.
Do it. How do you find your own? Yeah, we talked about that. I nearly finish. Charge my phone. Good night. Okay. I don't know what that means. Thanks, guys. Graded by. Okay, cool. All right. Any last questions before we?
Hopefully we answered those, you know,
Yeah.
and if we didn't, go ahead and send a DM and ask us for further clarification. We'll
For
be
sure.
happy to answer.
For sure.
Chile, what's up? Saludos desde Chile. What up, man?
All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for our question and answer. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for those questions. Again, if you want questions, we're going to do them on the Brotographer on Instagram, _Brotographer, typically Monday afternoon sometime, but we will go live. So make sure you go to the Brotographer, follow. And then under notification settings for live videos, make sure you get notified for all, because Instagram will only notify like a certain amount. Like we'll have like 10, 20 people watching the live video. If Instagram would actually let everyone know, we'd have, like 1,000 people watching at a time, which would be cool. But I'm sure their servers would just explode.
Yeah.
If that were the case with everyone. Anyways, we're going to get into a few rumors and a little bit of news in the camera industry like we like to do. But first, we are going to talk about kind of what we did. That's the plan, right?
Yep.
Cool.
What we've been up to ever since the new year.
What have you been up to, man?
We are, so as we talked before, we're on our off season, so just editing. So I've been editing, and actually I had to restore my Mac, dude.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
I've been trying to edit on Premiere, and Premiere just kept crashing. Every 5 minutes that I would start up a project that I've been editing. So I updated Premiere 2020, whatever it is, 14, and it just kept crashing and crashing. Whenever I moved some footage down to my timeline.
Final Cut.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Resolve. Like,
I haven't had Final Cut crash
really
once.
Dude, it was the most. So I would sit down ready to edit. I'm going to knock out this wedding film. Boom, crash.
Oh.
Deleted Premiere, reinstalled it.
Did you lose any work?
No, I didn't lose anything. Everything's keep your backups on a separate hard drive.
When I was on Premiere, I'd hit Command S like every 3 seconds.
Yeah, I do that. Oh, yeah. I autosave and do that as well.
On Final Cut, you can't. It just saves everything immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So took out Premiere, reinstalled it, still crashing. Updated my MacBook to Catalina, still crashing. Restored it all, re-downloaded Premiere. So hours of my time. I couldn't edit. And now I'm back to normal, and now it's time to edit again. So that's kind of what I was doing this weekend.
Your computer's probably a little cleaner, though, right?
It looks nice. It feels good.
To not have all that. Oh, dude,
I had a ton of things.
Your desktop give me nightmares, and I'm not the cleanest person possible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, having a clean desktop is nice.
It's like a clean studio or office.
I felt like 2020's here.
Yeah, exactly.
It almost felt, but whatever. That was Premiere's fault for crashing all the time. So that's kind of what we were up to. I was trying to edit, setting goals for 2020, like we said. And then I have been reading a couple books that I wanted to share with you guys, just kind of because it's our downtime. I can spend time trying to learn and trying to teach myself a couple.
I don't know how to read something that's not on a screen.
You know what? Me neither. But I did buy some new books that I want to share with you guys.
What are these things with paper?
So they're paper, and you open them, and they have words. So of course, you guys probably heard about Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's just learning about financing and finance, kind of,
right?
What an asset, what a liability is.
How to be an adult.
How to be an adult, and actually coming where I'm from, no one in my family, like in my immediate family, owns a business, and I have to learn everything myself, and one way to do that is just search out books and
for sure
kind of always look for knowledge when you don't have that person to teach you.
Surround yourself with people who know more than you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I did. Well, yeah, I lucked out, but
exactly. You told me about your father-in-law, helped you out a lot, and so having someone close to you or a book, something that you can read and get that knowledge is very important. And as our first year in business, I have to kind of eat up whatever I can find for
here come the taxes.
Yeah, and that's something we're going to meet the CPA, I think, this week or next week and kind of talk about what I should have been doing, what I messed up in, how much I owe. And it's something scary as a new business owner, not knowing much.
You don't know what to expect.
I don't know.
Tax season still freaks me out. And then I get done with it. I'm like, oh, there's like a weight lifted off your shoulders. Oh, it wasn't as bad. I kind of know what to expect.
Yeah, and that's some of the information I'm looking for is to be ready. And so at the end of the year, I want to know that I'm going in, I'm going to be good. Everything's taken care of. I don't want that doubt. So that's what I'm be doing next week or this week if I get a chance to meet with him. But that's on the finance part.
Nice.
That's on the business end, but I also like to learn about the mastery of self, like just learning about yourself and, kind of take care of both ends, business and your personal life. Mm-hmm. And this one's called The Mastery of Self by Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., and it's really good insight on just how to control your thoughts and how to put positivity out for yourself and for others.
Right.
It's kind of like a self-help book, but it's really mind-blowing. I've been reading this, kind of blew my mind on how your words are, they can change the way your reality.
Oh, for sure.
And what you put out, what you say about yourself, your business, is going to become a reality. So you got to stay positive. And those are two things that I've been reading, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. And that's kind of just editing, learning, and what I've been up to.
Nice.
Boom. Sorry about that.
It's good podcasting. Slap the table.
Sounded terrible.
Right. At least you're not punching the mic.
Yeah.
I over the last week. Okay, what did I do? I didn't shoot any photos at the gym. I'm trying to teach someone, the girl who helps out on some of the marketing and social media. I'm trying to teach her a little bit of photography slowly.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. I haven't really sat down with her yet. But to like teach her the nitty gritty, kind of told her to go to some YouTube channels first.
Did she know anything?
No. She has a camera, but she doesn't know the settings and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's interesting to teach people how to learn, because you know stuff, but you can't necessarily regurgitate it in a way that makes sense to other people.
Yeah, and then you don't know how they learn, if they're visual, if they have to read it.
Exactly. But did that.
So how are you approaching it?
I don't know how I'm going to approach it. I'm going to teach somebody else this week who wants advice. She does blogging and social media and stuff. And I don't really know how it's going to go. I think, honestly, you just have to put a camera in their hand and say the relationship, if you want to freeze action or make a blurry background.
That's kind of
like, what does that mean?
Teaching Letty.
Just dumb it down as much as possible. How do I make a blurry background? What does that mean? You got to open up your lens.
Yeah.
But when you open up the lens, there's more light.
What's an aperture? What's ISO?
Exactly.
And it's like explaining ISO was this thing when film was used that,
I know.
It's like old school.
The way I had it described, I heard it described to somebody else one time, was you talk about aperture and shutter speed, and then you talk about ISO as like a booster. That's it. All it does is digitally boost it up, the brightness.
Okay.
And the more you boost it up, the more digital noise you'll get. But you can artificially make it brighter when you can't make it any more brighter with your aperture or shutter speed.
That's good.
Booster.
I like that. Yeah. I might use that too.
So I'm going to try that. And then I shot some client video, like 2 to 3 camera interview style shoots. And so I was the only person doing it. And it was for one person, it was a big production. So like three locations, lighting, professional audio, 3 cameras.
Do we have time to get into a little bit of the gear that you used?
A little bit. I'm at 3:30. I have to teach, so we have like 25-ish minutes, 20-ish minutes. Yeah, we can get into it a little bit.
Yeah, sure, a little bit.
So I used 2 aperture lights to light stuff. And I used what is now Dady microphones. They're big professional shotgun mic. And what else should I get into?
What cameras did you use?
I used the Sony A7 III, A7R III, and A6400, mostly shot in HLG. And
which looked really good. I was looking at the footage.
Yeah, and I think I'll be able to tweak it a little bit as well. HLG is way flatter. I shot a couple clips in Cine 2.
So what were you shooting? It was interviews, right?
Basically like interviews for not promotional videos, but
like a talking head, informative
stuff. Yeah, for the client.
And what you were telling me, you use multiple cameras to capture it. You have the big soft light. What is that called that you were using? Because it looks really good.
From Aperture, it's the Light Dome. I think this is the Light Dome. It's the large one, the Mark II version.
Yeah. So just really soft lighting.
Super soft lighting, getting it as close as you can, but having to change locations and then figure out again where to place stuff, how to place stuff, how to have the best angles possible. I could have done maybe a few things differently.
Yeah.
But I think overall it turned out pretty well.
I think
for how much
great.
time.
Yeah, you did great. I was looking at the footage you were showing me right before we started, and all the angles look great. You had 3 camera angles to choose from, which is awesome.
Right. So if one doesn't look as good.
Yeah, exactly. You had the backup. The lighting looks good. The sound was on point.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the sound. You said you used the DD.
Yeah, I used it's an XLR microphone. I believe it's called the DDS Mic 2, I think.
It's just a shotgun over
Yeah,
the.
it's a long, like foot long shotgun microphone, placing it as close to their mouth as possible, like just out of frame, typically like 12 to 18 inches from their mouth at like a 45-degree angle. It's the same mic I use for my YouTube stuff in here.
Going into the.
Yeah, so I run that on an XLR cable, long cable, into the Beachtech DXA Micro Pro or DXA Micro. It's like an audio interface tool that essentially is a preamp. Most cameras don't have good preamps, and you have to boost up the in-camera amplifier a lot, which creates a lot of digital noise. So you use these more expensive tools as almost like a cutoff man. So it goes from your audio to this preamp, which makes it sound a lot better. Then after it does whatever it does in the preamp, you then put that audio into the microphone.
Which sounded great. When I was listening to it, it sounded really good.
I was really worried about a couple of the rooms because I was hearing a lot of reverberation in my ear and wearing the headphones at the same time. So I thought, man, this is going to sound so echoey. Yeah. But I was really surprised with how good it sounded.
Directional is just directly pointed at them and
pointed at their mouth. And that's why you get the mic as close to your person as possible. They didn't want to use lavs, so I was freaking out a little bit not having a backup audio source. That's why I didn't bring the other shotgun mic for the other camera, because I was going to use the lav. But it turned out well. I was just, constantly sweating and monitoring audio.
And then run and gun, you have to be ready for kind of anything. You expected to use a lav, you couldn't use it.
Yep.
The areas were cramped. You had to... really think on your feet, especially when you're running a single man team.
Absolutely.
Gun, right? Like how stressful was that?
It was stressful. I had a battery situation with that dang A6400, tiny battery.
Wait, Sony's, the batteries don't last that long?
Oh man, on that camera, like I wanted to buy an A6600 after the shoot.
You go straight to the
just like
Amazon or what?
Because you can't necessarily just have a ton of batteries. But then, like, what we're shooting on right now is the A6400 as well, but I have a dummy battery in it. Yeah. I bought the camera used, and they gave me a dummy battery, and I think I'm just going to do that in the future.
Yeah.
And I might even buy 2 more dummy batteries for the R3 and the A3.
How long were the interviews? Weren't past 30 minutes?
We were typically running a take between 5 and 20 minutes.
Okay.
So there's like 3 hours of footage for a 3-minute video.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Typically, yeah, I thought about that, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as I think, because typically, like, they'll do 3 or 4 or 5 takes, and the last one ends up being the best. Yeah, so you can scrub through it, just kill the first take, And
I usually find the last or the second to last, because I'll do, okay, that one was the one, now one more time. I always get that.
Exactly.
Backup.
And with the scrubbing feature, there's certain things that I do faster already and certain things that I do much slower because it's new software to me. But the scrubbing feature in Final Cut is so much better to me.
Really? Faster?
Yeah, I can just scrub through it. I can see everything. I can see there's a pause there. Okay, start to play. Oh, no, that was a bad take. Scrub through, wait for another pause, because you hear the audio scrubbing through, like, chipmunk style faster.
Yeah. So you're liking Final Cut?
I'm liking Final Cut.
The switch is going.
But yeah, getting the... I need a drink. Getting the HLG footage back into Final Cut, I also found was a little bit weird. 1 second.
Which I've shot before in HLG, and when you import it, it looks kind of weird.
Yes. Well, no, not when you import it. When you import it, yeah, then you throw it onto the timeline into a project, and it like blows out their face immediately, and you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But when you shoot in HLG, you typically shoot in BT 2020 color space, which is a different color space. You just got to change that color space.
Has more colors.
Yeah. Again, I feel like I learn a lot from Gordon Lee on Instagram. He has an awesome Instagram. Go check him out. It's Lee. Or is it Lie? I think it's Lee. L-Y. Gordon. Gordon L-Y. He does a ton of stuff. And he actually... I was asking him, like, what is he shooting in lately? I like the look of his videos.
and because he uses Sony as well, and he told me, mostly HLG and some S-Log too, which I still haven't messed around with that much, but be on the lookout for this.
Yeah.
So I knew because of him to go and look at some tutorials and
That's
stuff.
awesome. So be prepared. Do a little research.
Yes.
Before you head out.
Yes, because that's a freak out moment, right? If you didn't know that was happening, or going to happen, you would have no clue.
Yeah.
And it would just be like, I lost this footage.
Which Premiere, when you bring it into Premiere, it looks normal.
It just handles it.
Yeah, automatic.
If it's not crashing.
Which is like one good thing about it.
If it's not crashing. Yeah. But I think it went well.
Awesome. So you had a productive weekend.
Yes. That was a Friday gig. So I'm going
go.
to need to be, like you, heads down editing for the next week to 2 weeks. So
awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited, though.
Yeah. That's one way to start 2020, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited. So running probably,
You sure?
80 hours a week. I'll probably do 80 hours at least this week.
Of work? Between
yeah.
gym and
at least.
The side gig?
Yeah, maybe 100 hours. So
damn, dude.
It's a lot.
Busy.
It's a lot.
No, I need to work harder.
Man, no, yeah, I need to work faster. I need to work better.
That's one thing when you're learning a new program is that you have to Google everything.
It's just going to take longer.
I
want to do. Oh, I don't know how to do that on this. Okay. And fiddling around and trying to figure out yourself is a waste of time.
Yeah.
Just go Google it.
YouTube.
Find it.
That's why YouTube is so important.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, let's talk about our final thing today. Oh. Yeah, into the rumors and all that good stuff.
What do we have?
First, so if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna give I used to work with a guy named Justin Bond, and he would do underquotes, and I always liked those. So the Canon underquote leaked. Someone leaked the specs and
do we want the specs?
All the pictures. Sure. I'll run over to Canon rumors here on my phone. I'm sure it's going to be
so why do you say leaked? You said there was some promo photos.
Well, all the stuff was leaked. Like all the specs, all the photos, like the real promotional photos, all the real specs.
Someone's asked if they put it out.
Yeah, so I would assume, and brands have done this in the past where they quote unquote leak or underquote leak stuff, and kind of their people are on all the websites.
Yeah.
They're looking at people's comments. They're gauging people's reaction because I don't think they've released the price yet either. And so I think like, are these specs going to warrant this price or this price or this price?
And this is the Canon.
This is the 1DX Mark III.
Mark III.
Yes.
And there's a couple things that stood out to you. And,
so
what do we got?
It's a 20 megapixel camera, which I think is the exact same as the 1DX Mark II.
Which you had, right?
And I had
the 1DX Mark II.
Yeah, that was my last camera before I went over to Sony, which is honestly better than my Sony cameras still.
Monster Canon.
Yeah, in almost every way. So you get essentially the same specs for photography, except the frame rate's going to bump up like it typically does. Video, though, was rumored to have like crazy raw internal recording.
Yeah.
So it is going to have CFast not CFast. CF Express.
Yeah,
CF
Express.
And those are even faster than CFast. They're crazy expensive, but they're fast. So I heard the buffer in shooting photos is going to be just nuts, which it was on the 1DX Mark II. Yeah. So I can't imagine that. But it's going to do, so 20.1 megapixels isn't 6K. I believe a 24 megapixel camera is actually 6K.
Okay.
So it's going to shoot 5.4K, I believe, if I'm looking at this correctly, in raw internal recording, and also full frame 4K 60 frames a second, which if you hear that is absolutely amazing. It'll also do 10-bit internally, I think, as well.
422.
Yeah, but one of the cool photo formats, like in video how you can do H.265.
Yeah.
The photo format of that with better compression. HEIF.
Okay.
HEIF. That's gonna be harder to say than JPEG. But yeah,
that's the newest.
That's the newest. So it's just gonna compress stuff better. You're looking at 20.1 megapixels, 16 FPS mechanical shutter, and 20 frames per second when you're shooting live view, probably with no autofocus. But the biggest thing to me was in raw video or 4K recording, apparently you're not going to have autofocus. And you think
How?
about that, and you're like,
How?
and I have theories on this, and I've had this theory with Canon for a long time. So on the 1DX Mark II, and we don't have a ton of time, but the 1DX Mark II, you had you had autofocus in 4K 60, but
Cropped.
you weren't shooting RAW, and it was cropped. What Canon does is they know their processing limits. They know if we crop this footage, if we crop the sensor, it won't create as much heat. If we don't crop the sensor, it's going to create more heat. And if you add in the elements of autofocus, it's probably going to create too much heat. And this body is weather sealed.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the back open spaces, the
here,
heat sink.
This one has fans.
Like your S1H has.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they know their limits. So they're going to give that to you. But at that point, I didn't even see the price earlier. $6,500. It's even more expensive.
4,000.
You can use Canon glass on your Panasonic S1H. At that point, unless you need it for photos, if you're buying this camera for video, I'd say buy a C200 for $7,000 or $7,500. Yeah. Excuse me. But you can probably find a used C200, even though it's not full frame, for like $6,000.
Yeah.
Or less.
So it'd be cheaper.
So I was really worried about this camera like wanting to lure me back, but honestly, it doesn't. And the no dual pixel autofocus in RAW it's kind of a non-starter for me. Yeah. I don't want to. What's the point at that point?
That's surprising to see that. Like why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, it comes down to their processing. They know their limits. They don't release crap that doesn't work. It's like
something they can add in with an update, firmware update, or no?
Yes, I would imagine so, because better firmware, better software can create less heat. More efficient processing through software, I believe in the past, has led to less heat. Huh. So I know Sony has done that in some of their cameras and all that.
So maybe they're like, we just want to get 4K RAW.
But I feel like they would have said that in this quote unquote leak. So it's supposed to come out in mid-February of 2020, so that's coming up here. So I would assume a real announcement would come soon, and I would also assume that they would, in typical Canon fashion, say exactly what I said. Hey, if you want RAW recording, you're going to be a filmmaker. Filmmakers don't use autofocus. They'll say something like that.
Which
is changing.
There's a point, though. There's a point to be made there, but still.
Yeah,
you want to at least have like some sort of autofocus, like.
But internal RAW recording, pretty cool. No flip screen though, and that's going to be hard. I found the 1DX really tough when you're getting low angles.
Like an IBIS type of.
No, doesn't say anything about IBIS.
Dual native, ISO, anything like that.
Nope, nothing about that. So it's a really interesting camera. It'll allow you to get some pretty cool stuff, but it is again very expensive and.
At that price point,
it's just not very interesting to me. All right, we got a couple minutes. What's another thing?
I think that's all we had.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. CES is going on right now, so it's typically like the TV show. I did see that Panasonic released
a couple camcorders.
Some camcorders today, but I'm not really interested in camcorders.
Yeah, and then I was looking over the news. There was really nothing interesting kind of out there.
Everyone's still coming off the lull of the holidays. Now, I would hope that Sony, I think Sony's been waiting out these other companies. So I hope that they've waited out the S1H, the XT3, the 1DX Mark II. I'm curious to see if they'll finally, in the next 4 months, right?
If April, they don't, what happens?
If they don't, I'm buying a cinema camera.
Which one?
Well, I'm honestly going to wait for an announcement for like the FS5 replacement. I think it's time for a replacement.
Hearing, like I said, that there is none. Like there's no plans on continuing that.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm not in any rush, and I want to wait and buy something that I'll have for the next
dude, I can't
6 years
to see what the A7S III. I wanted it for so long. I upgraded to a different.
And
camera.
I don't want to buy other cameras saying like they'll hold me over. I just want that camera, and I'll buy 2 of them.
And I'm kind of like waiting. Like, did I make the right choice? Obviously, this is the right choice for me.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm like, I just can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait. I'm excited. I'm excited for this year. 2020 is going to bring on so much new gear, new innovation. So I'm pumped. I'm really pumped.
Yep. I've determined I can't become a minimalist now after how much gear I had to use on that shoot as well. That's not going to happen this year. I'm going to need more space.
Yeah.
Sell off the stuff that I don't use and keep the stuff that I do.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyways, man, I have to go teach a class at the gym in like right now. So it's been cool. I think that was a pretty good show. We answered some questions. We talked about rumors, and I hope I provided some interesting information when it comes to
shooting, run and gun setups, and how that went. We covered our goals for 2020, a little bit of our goals, and kind of what we've been up to. Yeah. My editing woes that, Premiere always causes.
Always.
So it was a good episode.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you in episode number 9. Peace.
Peace.